Jackie Dean.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. You know, New Zealand is a country that has huge potential. We've got extraordinary natural beauty. We've got water mostly where and when we need it. We've got a very strong base of agricultural production and a proud history of people with a can-do attitude. We perform extremely well in the global community, both as individuals, in science and sport. In culture, we rate highly with our strong and stable economic performance and have done so under this government for the past 5 difficult years. The New Zealand economy continues to stand out amongst developed countries, growing by at least 3.5% in the last year, with Treasury forecasts showing growth to be at a similar rate in 2014. This recovery and growth has not been by accident, nor can it be put down to luck, nor can it be put down to improving and variable global fortunes. It is because this government is continuing to implement its plan to build a faster growing economy with more jobs and also to support New Zealand families and all New Zealanders. So, over the past 5 years, we have not wavered from our 4 priorities. Our 4 key priorities of responsibly managing the government's finances, just like New Zealanders expect us to do. Secondly, we're building a more productive and a more competitive economy, because that's what's creating more jobs and increasing wages. Mr Speaker, it's the economy that creates jobs, not governments, and that's something that I believe Labor don't quite get yet. Thirdly, we're delivering better public services within tight budgets, because it's taxpayers' money that we are spending, and people are entitled to know that we respect every dollar of it. And fourthly, we are supporting the rebuilding of Christchurch because we pledged on day one that we would stand with the city, and we are. I well remember former Mayor Bob Parker saying, "Don't forget us." Well, we haven't. The economy is growing, more jobs are being created, family incomes are rising, crime is falling, more elective surgery is being done in public hospitals, long-term welfare dependency is falling, and we're continuing to help families and older New Zealanders with generous income support. You know, I've sat through much of the debate on the Prime Minister's speech, and I see some stark differences across the House. The John Key-led government enters election year focused on the issues that matter to all of us: a stronger economy, more jobs, better frontline health and education, a safer New Zealand, and rebuilding Christchurch. Across the House, well, it's interesting, I've seen anger from a pretty rudderless opposition who are quickly reverting to their tax and spend policies, and who just know in their heart of hearts that an election year lolly scramble just isn't going to cut it with the New Zealand public. I reckon that they are angry with themselves, and I reckon that they are angry with their leadership. They're thinking, okay, so we're in an election year, is this really the best we can do? I think it can't be a very good place to be. Labor's last time in government increased the deficit, increased interest costs, put the economy into recession, and deep down, what they know is that they don't have an answer, because all the economic and social indicators are heading in an upwards direction. You know, it's impossible for Labor and the Greens to talk the country down. They try, goodness knows they try, when all the facts around the economy say it is growing. More jobs are being created, family income is rising, crime is falling. We have increased the number of elective surgeries, we've reduced waiting time for cancer treatments, long-term welfare dependency is falling. You know, Ruth Dyson stood up in the House last night all angry-faced and said, "National has done nothing for the environment." Really? Let's just take a look at our record. We've tackled the issue of water quality. Where the Greens and Labor ran a mile in the last term of their government with their water plan of inaction, their term, not ours, our Land and Water Forum is providing collaborative solutions to some pretty testing situations. Our emissions trading scheme settings provide the government with flexibility to balance our fair contribution to global climate change efforts against the costs imposed on New Zealand's households and on business. We passed the exclusive economic zone protections where there were absolutely none under the previous government, and they were quite happy with that state of affairs. We continue to develop marine reserves. We've invested more research and rehabilitation on our worst polluter water bodies than the Green and Labor government ever did. And our RMA reform program has set about simplifying and streamlining the RMA processes, providing stronger central government direction and stronger environmental reporting. Where was Labor in that space? Nowhere. Phil Goff got so angry about some kiosks being closed in Mount Roskill. Well, we want our cops out on the street, not sitting behind desks. We are a government who has overseen recorded crime per person down to the lowest level in 33 years. A government who has set a target to reduce overall crime rates by 15%. The statistics don't lie, Mr Mallard. Violent crime by 20%, and by the way, thank you for noticing, and youth crime by 25% by 2017, and who are already exceeding those targets. A government who has 600 extra police on the front line and 34 neighbourhood policing teams not sat behind desks in kiosks but out there in the most troubled neighbourhoods tackling the causes of crime. We've provided tasers, rolled out smartphones and tablets, lockboxes for arms and a prevention-first strategy that is working. We clamped down on gangs, organised crime and P. Our trades training, numeracy and literacy and out-of-gate strategies are supporting prisoners before they leave prison and immediately after. We want to give every prison inmate the opportunity to turn their lives around, and we have released a new youth crime action plan which aims to reduce youth offending over the next 10 years, one of the most critical aspect of our justice program. Absolutely. National is completely focused on making our communities even safer, and that is thanks to our justice team. And then Phil Twyford got up and got all angry about local government. Well, let's have a look at our record. We have unified Auckland by establishing one council for the whole region, substantially reducing red tape and bureaucracy. We've allocated $1 billion to repairs leaking building so homeowners can get on with their lives. That was in the too hard basket for the previous government. We've provided $5.5 billion to support Canterbury's local councils to rebuild. We've focused on local government on supporting economic growth and job creation. And we've implemented our better local government reforms to focus councils on stronger governance, improved efficiency and responsible management. We've made progress on better local government reforms. Mr Speaker, Meka Whaitiri questioned the wisdom of water storage and the building of new dams. Well, she is a new member. Well, we know that Labor hates farmers, and there's another member who continues in that sorry tradition. But how about these facts? The Opua Dam in South Canterbury irrigates 16,000 hectares, and in a 2-year study, MIMBI found the dam added an impressive $124 million to the South Canterbury economy every year and added 500 full-time jobs. That, Mr Speaker, is regional development. That is regional development based on agriculture. She also questioned the impact of cycle trails. She's not the first, she probably won't be the last, they just don't get it. Well, let me tell you that one of the first cycle trails, the Otago Central Rail Trail, puts over $8 million into the local economy and 96 extra full-time jobs, and that is in rural New Zealand. Mr Speaker, despite the improvements in the government's books, the better economic outlook and the focus on better public services, there will not be a big lolly scramble from National in election year. National will continue our steady-as-you-go approach. That is about getting better public services to deliver better results for communities, getting debt under control and ensuring we can weather uncertain global economic conditions. This government will have fresh ideas to put to New Zealanders across a range of areas in this year. Labour and the Greens will promise the earth, of course. We're only in February and they're already promising to spend the thick end of an extra $750 million this year. We're not going to do that. I'm proud to support the Prime Minister's statement.
Thank you.